Hi guys, I'm not Andrew Neil's biggest fan, but that doesn't mean that he can't be right from time to time. So he was commenting here on Donald Trump and Tony Blair's Gaza plan. Now, I think the former Prime Minister was brought on board because of the success of the Good Friday Agreement, and perhaps people believe that something similar can be implemented in the Middle East. Now, I'm a bit skeptical about that, and I'll explain why, but have a listen to what Andrew Neil had to say.
Under the peace plan, a Palestinian state is pretty far down the road.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an issue. That's a matter that's kind of fudged. Of course, it's important to the Arab countries that are supporting this peace plan, particularly Saudi Arabia and Egypt. They're still very committed to a two-state solution, but it is kicked down the road. Look, Mr. Trump talks about eternal peace. It's always good to be a peacemaker rather than a warmonger. But it does face a very immediate stumbling block, and that is, as you just indicated, Hamas. What's in it for Hamas? Why should Hamas give up its weapons, those that it's got? Why should it sue for peace? Why should it effectively surrender? Because that's what it's being asked to do, and then depart the field, because it's being told that it can play no part in a future Gaza or a future Palestinian entity. Now, for Hamas to do all these things, in my view, would be wonderful. That'd be fantastic. Yeah. If we never see them again, the world would be a better place. But what's in it for Hamas? Yeah. What do they get out of this? Why would they do this?
Yeah, why would they do this? There's no incentive for them to do this. See, I brought up the Good Friday Agreement. I brought up Tony Blair's role in it previously because I think there's an attempt to emulate something like what happened in Northern Ireland. But the difference here is that when it came to Sinn Féin and the IRA, Sinn Féin were convinced to adopt politics, the political struggle, as opposed to the military struggle with the IRA, because there was something being offered to them. So we're going to set up an assembly, you're going to have a local government, you're going to have a regional government, you're going to have Northern Ireland's own administration, and Sinn Féin can be part of that process. So give up the weapons for politics. But the difference with Hamas in Gaza is that Hamas has both a political wing and a military wing, a bit like with the Republicans in Northern Ireland. But when it comes to Hamas, you're not saying give up your weapons and join the political process. You're saying give up your weapons and go away. Now, the fundamental problem also here is that Hamas is, while it's an organization, both military and political, is more an idea. And you can't destroy an idea. You can dismantle their weapons, you can destroy their organization, but every time a hospital is bombed, every time an apartment complex is destroyed, what you're doing is you're sending more people in the direction of this idea. You're creating more fighters, you're creating more politically active people. So the solution, of course, is to bring both sides together and have peace. But in order to achieve that peace, there needs to be respect for human rights. There needs to be respect for the people of Gaza and the West Bank. And we're not seeing that at the moment. So in order to destroy the idea, although you can't really destroy the idea, you need to replace it with something else. And that replacement has to be a Palestinian state that has all the trappings of a sovereign nation. But what Trump and Tony Blair are suggesting is, well, Hamas have to go. Not their fighters have to go, their fighters have to decommission. No, the entirety of Hamas needs to go. And I think this is a major stumbling block for two reasons. First of all, you need to convince Hamas to do this, which I don't think is going to happen. And second, you're not going to get rid of the idea. If the people support the idea of some sort of struggle against Israel, then getting rid of Hamas will just replace them with somebody else. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.